And now the delightful story of an American woman who made a permanent move to Rosarito, Baja California, and is now making a huge difference in the lives of both local and foreign residents in Rosarito.
The special today, just have a seat and then I'll...
This is Chacha's Cafe, a place not known by many locals, but a favorite to foreign residents and tourists, coming mainly from north of the border. As you open the door, the smell of hot coffee and homemade food sparks your appetite instantly. Amongst the guests, you can see foreign residents, mainly Americans, reading the paper, socializing, enjoying the food and the coffee, which, by the way, is advertised here as coffee and food for the soul.
Because I used to go to school every day with meatball sandwiches.
But the greatest attraction to the diner seems to be the owner, an American woman of Italian descent who has made a huge difference in the lives not only of Americans living and visiting Rosarito, but in the lives of many others.
What's your name?
Marcia Napoli is her name. She was born and raised in Boston. Back in the early 70s, she moved to Orange County in LA to become a psychiatric nurse. Some of her patients happened to be celebrities in Hollywood. She was invited to Rosarito, a visit that marked the starting point of a 180-degree turn in her life.
Well, I was first brought to Mexico back in about 1975. I was quite homesick for Boston. Being in California, I didn't know a lot of people, and when I came to Mexico, I felt very embraced and loved, and I loved it. So I started making acquaintances many years ago. I was, I think, planting seeds a long time ago. You know, the classes we're still having. Oh, yeah.
Those seeds she planted long ago would flourish into such close-knit ties that after 2 or 3 visits, she decided to look for a job in San Diego and live in Rosarito.
So I ventured here myself and rented a house and worked across the border. In those days, crossing the border was a piece of cake, you know. I worked 16 hours Saturday, 16 hours Sunday, and then come back here Sunday night. That admired the photos.
Her first years in Rosarito are full of anecdotes.
I came here single with a Volkswagen that was broke down more than it ran. I pushed my Volkswagen all through Mexico, and I was brought home by the state police many times from the toll road. And they'd say, "Lady, where you going?" And I say, "Oh my God." And oh, no problem. And then they said, "We'll give you a ride." So they go to give me the ride. And I can't tell you how many times. I can tell you exactly where I broke down 30 years ago, because every time was a wonderful experience.
Shortly, with an espresso coffee machine and a small commercial space, emerged Chacha's Cafe, which later became the favorite spot for foreign residents, mainly Americans, living in Rosarito.
In a way, you'd say a dream, you know, that, you know, it was like a fan, you know, writing things out on paper. And then, did I have a plan? Didn't have a plan. You know, how was I going to do it? How much money? Didn't know. Espacio?
Even though she keeps the memories of her life in the U.S. posted on one of the walls, she says the key to the wonderful life she lives here is her bonding with the local community.
One thing I always want to say is I'm alive and well and living in Mexico, very happy, very comfortably. The only energy I put into it is to support the community.
And when she says supporting the community, she means it. One day, she found out that a local orphanage was about to close its doors due to the lack of financial support. She mentioned it to one of her customers, and they managed to keep the place open.
He said, "Tell them we'll be there tomorrow for a meeting," and he made it happen so that we reopened the orphanage, and we're now we are the support to keep them open. He's actually from the States, but he lives here. We have now become, you know, the Chacha's Angels group. And
generations and generations of local kids owe Chacha and her partner the opportunity of a home and an education, and literally see them as their guardian angels. And that's just how it is. I got an email this morning from somebody. I am with the Angels baseball team, and I want the kids to come. I'm going to send you all the hats and the stuff. And he said, and maybe we can bring the kids to a baseball game. And I'm like, well, good luck. I don't know if they have visas. But if you think all this would keep Chacha with her hands full, Think again. Her expertise on in-care health assistance is also playing a huge role among Americans and other foreigners living and visiting Rosarito.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you friends with them?
Yes, I'm working, we take care of their father. We help take care of them. I was waiting on my customers, and my customers became patients, and I started taking care of them. The first one I had was here, and 76, and somebody else 56. One had liver disease, one had cancer, and they had no, what am I going to do? And I said, don't worry, we'll help you, we'll take care of you. And that's my second business, which is an in-home health care. And I encourage all kinds of, when there's Americans here, I say, come and do something. What's your gift? What's your specialty? You want to put something over here or help over here, that it's doable.
For those concerned about the dangers of living in Rosarito,
just reassure people that if you're here and you're living your life, that you're unbothered. You're not bothered by that.
Almost every day, Cha-Cha needs to be reminded that this is actually the life she's living.
Just saying, pinch me. If anybody knew my life and how wonderful it is. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.